So you're looking to edit a video podcast for free using DaVinci Resolve. Let's get right into it. First things first, download your DaVinci Resolve online from the Blackmagic website. I'll be leaving a link for ease to the free DaVinci Resolve for different operating systems. First important thing, before you begin editing your video podcast, first thing you need to do is to learn how to organize your content. So let's head over to my podcast folder over here. As you can see, there is a rush of video clips here. What we'll do is, let's create a new folder. Let's call it video podcast. The exact clips we are going to be editing, let's put them all in one place. So you might already have your own system for organizing your content, but if you don't, let me show you how I do mine. I go over to my media pool and I create a new bin. I call this bin camera and sound. Create a new bin again, elements. So within my podcast folder over here, I like to have multiple folders where I can arrange different things. Here we go. I'll create 4 new folders. First one, project files. In this folder, whatever project file from whichever editing software you're using. Next folder, I'll call it the content folder. In the content folder, this is where any audio and video files. Then we have assets. In the assets folder, all the assets that the podcast needs. If there are any intros or any ads that you want to put in the videos or logos, text and all that, this is where it will go. And then finally, export. Here, this is where your final export will go. So what you will do now is place all your contents individually in the folders that they are assigned. These are the videos from the shoot, copy and move. We'll also copy our audio files into the same folder. After creating your folders, place all your content, video and audio and your logos into their respective folders. If you record remotely on Riverside, you can download your high quality content and then throw them into those folders. Oh yeah, now let's get into it. These are the folders that are important to us. Let's head over to DaVinci Resolve. As I already did, I created a new file and I called it new podcast edit. Now you want to add your content into the media pool. Go over to file, go to import, go to media, head over to your podcast folder, import your content folder, which is the audio and video for your podcast. So this always pops up because the frame rate you shoot at most of the time does not always match the frame rate of the project or your timeline. So always change it to fit. After you have imported all the content, go over back and import the assets. But I like to do that in a different bin just so that everything is arranged. Create a new bin by double clicking, holding down Shift, Command and N to create your new bin. Call it assets and then import your assets. Go to your media. So this right here, this is not the actual logo, but I just want to speed up things so you get the understanding. If you record on Riverside, which is an online recording studio for podcasters, then your high quality audio and video will already be synced when you download it off the web. But then maybe you recorded with a camera and an external microphone and you need to sync up that audio. Let's go through how to do that. So head over to the media tab at the bottom here. Then you select all the clips that need to be synchronized. So if you notice something that we've done wrong here in the organization is, so the B-rolls, the multi-camera shots, and the sound are all mixed up here. So it's going to be hard for you to sync the audio with the right camera shots, excluding the B-rolls. I'll highlight all the shots that are not B-rolls and the sound by holding down my command key and then just tapping on it. And I'll create a new bin by left clicking. I'll create a new bin with selected clips over here just so that everything is in the same place. What we'll do now is we mark all of them and click auto sync to waveform and then click sync. So you wait for the software at this point to analyze your content. Right after it's done with syncing, to double check if what you've done has worked, you will want to right click on the video and go to clip attributes. Head over to audio, and here what you will notice is that it says linked. If it did not work, it would have said embedded. So as long as it says linked channel, then you're good to go. So once your audio is all synced up, you want to create a timeline for the video. So head over to your timeline, and then in your timeline here, you simply want to drag whichever videos you want. Let's say all of them at once. You can put into the timeline and start chopping. But I have to say this is one method. Here's another method. Take this all out. Let's do something else. Let's work using the multicam sequence. For smoother playback while editing, I would suggest you reduce the timeline resolution from full to quarter or half. I'll choose quarter so everything moves smoothly. Seeing as we have a guest and a host, that's already 2 cameras, and then there is a wide camera, so that's 3 cameras. So if you are syncing them all up to the sound like this, I'll show you. Go over to your master. These are your clips here. What I will do is I will highlight all once again like I did before, and then I will create new multicam clip using selected. Call it podcast. I'll leave the frame rate at 25 frames per second. Angle sync to sound. Every other thing I'll leave just like that. Create. Once again, it will start analyzing our content to create the multicam sequence. So after you have successfully created the multicam sequence, this is what will appear. You can see the multiple cameras and multiple audio files. So what you do is you create a new timeline with that multicam clip, or double clicking on it with your cursor. Call that podcast and then create. We have our multicam sequence. Next thing you do now is you double click on your multicam and you come over to this icon, this drop down arrow over here. Go over to multicam and then you see all your camera angles and sound. Switch this camera angle by highlighting and then go to switch multicam angle. If you notice here, the multicam that is active is angle 8. So go over and switch multicam to angle 8. So here, this is where the dual viewer mode is important when you are trying to edit a podcast using the multicam sequence. Zoom in a bit. Now I want to locate where the clip begins, which typically will be like the intro, where either the host or the guest get to introduce themselves. Locate that part. Welcome to... That'll be it. Shortcuts for cutting. If you click B, you immediately enter into your blade edit mode, or you click this icon over here to enter your blade edit mode, or you can click Command B, and then at any point your cursor is, if you click Control B, it cuts all the way down, and then you can highlight this, hold down Shift backspace to delete. So now our footage starts at the beginning here. Welcome to another episode of... Ideally, if you are beginning a podcast edit and there is a host and a guest, the host most likely will introduce the guest. You want to start the podcast with a tight shot of the host introducing himself, and then when he introduces the guest, you can move over to a wide showing both of them. But all these are decisions you will make as you go while you edit. They are solely up to you as an editor and solely up to your client taste and all. Notice our tight shot is angle 11. So highlight. You're on the blade mode, so it might kind of be difficult to highlight because you could cut your clip. So go over to your selection tool, highlight, switch and go to angle 11. And as you can see, we have our tight shots on the host. Play. Welcome to another episode of I want to welcome you very much, Stefan. At that point where he calls the guest name, personally, I will switch from tight shot of the host to like a wide shot showing both the host and the guest to show they're having a conversation. But as I said, this is solely up to you as an editor. It's the decision you make as you go. How to switch. If you want to switch from the wide, as you can see, this is it. As long as you're in your multicam, you can see these three icons here. This that looks like a video icon, video and audio, and then this audio. You want to click just the video. What this does is both your audio and your video clips are linked, as you can see. So when you want to change from one angle to another, just use your blade tool to cut and it immediately changes. But what happens here is it didn't just change just the video clip to angle 8, as you can see here. It also changed the audio to angle 8, and that's because audio and video here are highlighted. So you want to click Ctrl Z on that and go over to your video only. So now the audio file remains angle 1, but your video file, once you click this, it switches to wide, but it's just only the video that gets changed. So I want to welcome you very much. So that's how you navigate around using the multicam sequence. You will keep cutting all the way down till you are sure you have your whole video. The second thing here is adding your assets. So say you want to add music now, you can easily just drag and drop the music track onto your timeline. Zoom in and let's play that back. Welcome to another episode of... That's a bit too loud. Go over back to your selection tool, enter the inspectors channel so that you can edit around your audio settings, and I will reduce it to -20. Where we talk to the brightest... Ideally, most podcasts don't always have background music, but for like the intro or the outro, let's reduce this a bit here. In my last tutorial for beginners, I explained how to use these tools. Really, if you've been following along, you should be moving as fast as I'm moving. It would be nice to just add a little bit of fade in. And when we are past the intro of the podcast, the background music also fades out into the conversation is here. And there you have it. Capital and entrepreneurship just around the world. You would ask... Next thing you might want to add is your logo. I know this is not the logo. I just picked a random logo for my file manager just so we can get on with this. Pull it also into your timeline and just drop. Stretch it across so it covers the whole video. Next thing, resize and adjust. You do that in your inspectors panel. So have your logo track selected. Go over to your zoom and you can zoom in or zoom out by holding down your backward forward arrow over the numbers of your zoom, and you can pull in, pull out to increase the zoom and then decrease the zoom. 0.13 so it does not block or distract. And then over here on your positions tab, you can either move it along your x-axis or your y-axis. I'll say move it up on your y and then move it a bit on your x, just so it's at an interesting corner here. And there you go.
You would ask, why do I do this?
Reduce this a bit so we can add text where he introduces the guest and introduces himself. Go over to your titles here in your effects panel, and then you can pick any of the existing templates. I will just pick the basic text and put it over. This is the point where he calls.
Welcome you very much, Stefan.
So at this point where he introduces the host, I'll put the text there. Pull it and put it there. Write the name of the guest, Stefan. You can make further edits to your text. You can change the font, which I want something a little bolder. Let's go with this. You can change the size, I want a little smaller, and then you can adjust the position once again so it's not just slam bam in our face. This could work, but I would like to give it a little bit of background so it is more visible. Your title tab, scroll all the way down to your background, increase the height just a bit so it covers, reduce the width, increase the opacity, and there you have it. You can easily add a transition for the text. Go over to your transitions, video transitions in your effects layer, and then pick any transition of your choice. I'll pick this and just add at the beginning here. And then I can pick another one and add at the end. Next thing here is your color grading. Create an adjustment layer. Search over here. Pull your adjustment layer above all the clips. I'm going to make this short. I'm not going to edit the whole podcast. So let's add our in and out so we just know where we are editing thoroughly and the section we're going to export for the sake of this tutorial. So click your eye and then hover over to this point and click your O. So this is all we're going to be editing in this podcast. So we can go ahead and just delete the rest by clicking Ctrl B where your cursor is at. You notice I've already split it and you can just delete the rest. Pull your logo to fill and then pull your adjustment layer also to cover this video. Zoom in a bit and then pull out. Oh, look here, what I just noticed is further along the line, the tight shot for the guest was provided. Just for the sake of this tutorial, I will move our edit further into the podcast so that we can have 3 angles to work with. So let's reduce this, pull this back out, highlight just the video and the audio file and zoom in. It back out past all that we just deleted. Let's find the area where at least 3 camera angles were being used. Okay, right here towards the end of the clip, we have 3 cameras showing. So Ctrl B at this point. Also Ctrl B at this point, and then you can delete this. An easy way to delete this is by holding down your shift and your backspace and you just delete it. Here, Ctrl B, delete. With this extra clip selected here, we have up to 3 camera angles, so we can show how cut in and out between a camera angle to follow conversation. Pull your adjustment layer all the way till the end, pull your logo layer all the way till the end, and voila, we are good to go. So now let's chop. Go back to your multicam here by clicking this drop down. Here where it's just the host speaking, I'll go back.
We're in Stockholm. My second time in Stockholm. I love the city. Unfortunately, I've been coming in the winter.
And I called back again because I had a little bit of conversation from the guest. Once again, as I said, this is all personal and unique to you.
Love to start there, right? Take us through so you had the 40 million bucks now, right? 2 minutes. Like, how would you describe what you said?
Most times, if your playback is frustrating you as it is frustrating me, for a smoother playback, I would suggest you reduce the timeline playback resolution here in your playback settings, and then you can either half it or quarter it. Let's half it for a bit to see if playback.
Describe what you said. This is what we're going to invest in. I mean, I would say it's fair. They'll do today, early stage click.
Our playback is still not smooth enough, so we can further reduce it to quarter. So for the sake of this tutorial, let's stop here with the editing. Delete everything outside your out point by just cutting it in the way, and yeah. So here we have our completely edited podcast. By completely edited, we have chopped between different camera angles to follow the conversation. We have added our background music where it is needed. We have added text where it's also needed. We have added our logo also for the podcast. And now we want to get into the color grading. Pretty easy. Color grading has different steps, which I won't include in this particular tutorial because this tutorial is for just the podcast editing. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out. In the next video, I will be doing a short tutorial on how to color grade. After this, you will navigate your way over to the Deliver tab and then export. So now, if you want to mix up your audio further and then add things like compressor, you want to do that in your Fairlight Studio over here, but the audio already came mixed. For the sake of this tutorial, it came mixed. So before you start messing around with the audio, you want to understand or know what these effects are for and why they are supposed to be included. So this I will treat in a whole other tutorial. So go ahead to this video next for a better understanding on how to quickly edit your podcasts in DaVinci Resolve. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. And then before you go, please subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon so you never miss another video from King Rest.